Canada with my family. My father was an engineer, so we were lucky to travel with him. So the entire family traveled with him from Okinawa to Iran to Greece, and then from Greece to here in about 1970. So I did my undergraduate studies at Carleton University, and then I went to the University of Ottawa, where I did my law school. And after doing the bar admission course and the articling, I then was called to the bar in 1983. So at that time, there were not very many Filipino lawyers admitted to the bar across Canada. So I was the first Filipino lawyer to be admitted in Ontario, and I started practicing from that time onwards. So I had a great opportunity to work with many established career lawyers here and move from a 7-person firm to a medium-sized firm, and finally as a partner with one of the national firms. And I've always wanted to have my own law firm. And in 1995, I set that up after becoming a partner at this national law firm. And I've practiced completely on my own since then. And fortunately, clients have always sustained my practice. And to this day, I do quite a bit of business law, corporate commercial, estates and succession planning, and real property. And while I'm doing that, I'm also quite involved with the community. And one of the communities that I work with quite closely is the Filipino community, both in Ottawa, Toronto, and all of the other places. So there were a group of us that wanted to improve or increase awareness between Canada and the Philippines, with respect to business and bilateral relations. So we formed a loose group association in 1997, and it was actually at that time that President Ramos had a state visit to Ottawa, and we sustained or supported that visit with a one-day conference on doing business in the Philippines, and which was also supported by all of the business delegation that went with him, and from that time onwards, I then became quite involved in setting up the Canada-Philippines Business Council. So the Canada-Philippines Business Council was incorporated in 2003, but before then, since 1997, it really has been promoting Philippine-Canada business relations. And it was only, because I'm a lawyer, of course, then I was able to do the corporate structure for it, as opposed to just being a loosely formed association. But the primary objective was really to increase awareness in Canada about the Philippines and about Canadians being able to do business and the opportunities available to Canadians, but at the same time the opportunities available to Filipinos to do business in Canada. And the council, led delegations from Canada to the Philippines, and we also met with delegations from the Philippines, primarily the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, to Canada. And the council had associations or affiliations with the business organization in Toronto, in Winnipeg, and in Vancouver. So we promoted the awareness of Canada-Philippine business relations, bilateral relations, through a lot of educational seminars. And through that educational seminars, we were able to at least tell Canadians that there are business opportunities waiting for them in the Philippines. We work closely with the Philippine Embassy, with the Canadian Embassy in the Philippines, the Foreign Affairs Office here, and with all of the governmental and non-governmental organizations. In effect, we were like the central network. And through that, I think, we gained some inroads to increasing that awareness. I stepped down as president in 2008, and I'm followed by 3 others. And to this day, the council still does that, the educational awareness. And I'm really very pleased that the Philippines is now a focus of Canada for increasing that bilateral relations. And I know that Minister Ed Fast is going to the Philippines in latter part of May, bringing with him a trade delegation to explore business relations as well, and to do other bilateral activities at the same time. I know that the Philippines is a country focus for development opportunities with CEDA, and is also a country of focus in terms of the other, as I say, relationships with the Philippines. To me, that's fundamental, is that both countries must realize that there are opportunities for them here. And I was really pleased to know that there is a development that will be happening in Vancouver where there is a Philippine real estate company that will be partnering with a Vancouver company to build a condominium. To me, it really is important if there is that kind of partnership. Awareness is very important, not just because there are a lot of temporary foreign workers that are very much needed here and are very well looked upon because they contribute to the Canadian society and economy, but also to understand that, you know, the Philippines, I consider as one of the ASEAN countries, is really the best country to work with, because there are very many similar values to Canadian values, and so it's not very difficult to enter into that cultural society. And I think that's evident when the Filipinos come to Canada, and they're easily assimilated, and they take up, and they're very good citizens. And I think everyone that works with Filipinos here, you know, respect them and really appreciate the work ethic that they exhibit. To me, as I said, when I started with the Canada Philippines Business Council, I realized that because the Philippines is so far away, it's very difficult for Canadians to go there as easily as they would in the United States. So trade and business is very difficult. It was really a hard sell trying to encourage delegations to go there. But again, it's because of not really knowing the opportunities that lies there for them. So to me, increased awareness is key, but not just for the human resources that are coming from the Philippines to here, but other aspects of Philippine culture. I think it's wonderful that President Aquino's coming, and it bodes well for Filipinos that are here. Politically, it shows how important the Filipino community is in Canada for this government, and I think as a benefit of that will be the focus on the Philippines for increased trade, increased focus on doing bilateral activities. Canada has always been in the Philippines, but primarily for development activities in governance, helping women, small businesses, and so on. But I think the state visit and the focus on the Philippines at this time brings it to a different level, brings it to a greater level and a scope than what was before. So it is important, and I hope that this interest in the Philippines will be sustained by future government, that the Philippines is a good partner for Canada, not just in business, but in all other aspects. So I highly applaud it. My message to them, to the Filipino business people, because there are men and women, is really come to Canada. The best way to do business is really partner with a Canadian businessman. And they will, Canadian business are interested in doing business, and they just need to be introduced and to show that there is a willingness to invest in Canada. So once they invest here, then those Canadians will also invest in the Philippines. So there has to be reciprocity, and there will be. But so my message to the Filipino business people, please come to Canada. It's a wonderful place to do business, really.